Newly elected Michigan Governor Rick Snyder's proposed budget would hit many government services with significant cuts, and the cuts to libraries could be massive. The budget proposes a 40% reduction to state aid to libraries. This is in addition to a 40% reduction just 2 years ago, resulting in a 76% reduction since 2000. While the governor's budget calls for shared sacrifice across the state, Michigan libraries have been receiving cuts for years, and the East Lansing Public Library is no exception.
The one major thing that Governor Snyder is calling for is shared resources and a shared sacrifice. Well, libraries have already been doing that. The entire MELCAT system, which is the interlibrary loan process, is a shared resource. It's something that the Michigan libraries have been doing for quite some time.
Our staff took furloughs in 2010, and many staffs across the state are taking furloughs. Libraries are reducing hours. Detroit is laying off staff. The Troy Library just closed its doors. The 40% budget cut will affect Michigan libraries, specifically in our Michigan electronic library databases. Those will probably be drastically cut, and the majority of the databases, research databases that East Lansing Library gets come from that Michigan e-library. MELCAT, which is our resource sharing across the state, where you can go into any library basically in the state of Michigan and request a book that isn't on their shelves but might be on the shelves of any library within the state. If that goes away, that means that our patrons would only be able to get the materials that are within the walls of the East Lansing Public Library. So it goes from having millions of resources at your fingertips to having about 140,000.
While the East Lansing Library has not made any significant changes yet, Shelley says it will not be long before some action is taken.
I'm really looking at how we do business, and meaning that, how efficiently we do business. We're looking at using our staff in different ways and being more proactively customer service oriented, so that we might get self-checkout stations so that our staff can be more in direct line of customer service with readers advisory and that kind of thing.
Early childhood literacy students that come to the library looking for books for their lesson plans, and our librarians definitely assist them with a number of those items. Depending upon what these budget cuts will mean, we are hopefully not going to have to reduce reference desk time, but of course that might be something that we would have to look at, and therefore those questions would not be maybe answered in a timely manner.
We charge for people who don't live in the city limits of East Lansing, and right now that charge for a library card is $30 a year, which is still fairly reasonable. I mean, it's about the cost of a hardback book, but those costs could go up if we needed to generate more revenue. The perfect storm is that just all the different steps that of funding cuts that could possibly come out of this proposed budget. Reducing or diverting penal fines, in different ways. If personal property tax is eliminated, that is a huge revenue source that will be gone. Everybody wants a piece of the same pie. I understand that. However, cutting education and cutting libraries, in my personal opinion, is not the way to go.
Will this perfect storm of cuts overtake Michigan libraries? Only time will tell. For Spartan Online Newsroom, I'm Katie Dilbout.